I think we were talking, and you told me something like you were getting up early to go skate. You were like pretty focused with JP, like working like really carving out time to go out and get clips. And I was like, how many clips do you have? You're like, I don't know. I got like 80, 90. Like, I was like, dude, that's like 3 sections. Like, why are you still pushing? So can you get into that a little bit? When
Well,
you have like
you
80
got to
or 90
realize.
clips and you're still pushing to like get up early, go skate.
Well, it got to me recently, just so you're aware. It
Okay.
did freak.
Okay.
I did lose my mind a little bit, but no, it's basically. Look, I know it's tough. For everyone's got stuff going on, right? Like it's we're all blessed to the fact that we're in let's say 30s, late 30s, early 40s. Like the fact that we're still doing this is amazing. And like when I talk to other people, like civilians that don't skate, it's not even like the athleticism and like the fact that we're in shape. It's the fact that we have something that we love to do. So many people are like lost, right?
Yeah.
Where maybe they have a wife and kids. Okay, they do that. I don't even know if they like the wife and kids, but they do that. Whatever. Okay, and they focus on work, but they don't have anything that they want to do. And it's kind of like I can never think of that. Like I can't even picture that. Like, what do you live for in a sense, right? Like, what do you have going on? So I know that we're blessed to all have this in our lives, but at the same time, we have life, jobs, family, kids, this, whatever we got, right? So we kept skating, and we were just like, all right, when do we hit done? Like, when is this project done? We just kept going, right? So we just keep filming and filming and filming, and then finally we were like, all right, this is done. So we stopped, and then I went on to Bodega Boys stuff, right? So I think we stopped filming in whatever August. So I've been filming with him so much. Then we went to then I started filming with like Mike and those guys. So in 2022, I didn't have a lot with Mike and those guys, like maybe 5 or 6 clips, nothing, right? But then this past year, 2023, that's when I started bulking up on that. So you kind of gotta prioritize. But it's good to put like a deadline on it. So we put a deadline on it, and then we went to Puerto Rico, and then we started working on a Puerto Rico thing. But just between everything else, it started to like compile. So it started to stress me out a little bit because we would go to spots that I've already skated, with JP, and then I would go with other people, and they're like, "Oh, let's start skating here," and I'm like, no, let's not go there. That spot sucks, and I heard, it's capped and security guards are there, whatever it is, because I want to deter everyone from going. I don't want to go back. What am I going to do? One up myself? I don't want to. It's like betting against yourself. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, it's tough when you start compiling, and it started to make me a little bit crazy because I was like nervous to have to go back to spots, or then now I'm wearing bigger pants. I'm doing different clips. Like you start to kind of weed yourself out. But I'm glad it came out. I'm happy with it. I think it was pretty good. I think it was a well-rounded thing, and I'm trying to get away from where I used to be back in the day, where all my sections were like, I'll eat fish brain this, I'll eat fish brain that. I'm trying to do other things. You know what I mean? Switch.
Yeah.
Anything switch.
Yeah. I noticed that like you did a really good job.
Sorry, I got a cat fight here.
A cat fight? Oh,
I'm sorry. I fucked up. I didn't feed them before I began the podcast. So sorry.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I noticed that with your skating that I feel like a lot of people from our generation aren't able to transition to like the new style of skating too successfully. But I don't know if it's because you're skating with like a different crowd in the Bodega Boys who are like really conscious of these things, or if it's you yourself being motivated by what's happening around you and like the new style of skating that's happening. But I think you've done a pretty good job of embracing a lot of those new ideas and techniques and like not kind of being like the quintessential like skater from like the late 90s, early 2000s that does like a lot of those. Not that there's anything wrong with the traditional style of skating or tricks, but I've really seen you like kind of successfully embrace those new ideas. So I just wanted to let you know that I've noticed.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. Is that something you were consciously trying to do, or was it just like naturally happening because of like who you were skating with and what was happening?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not the old school, like, oh my God, we got to do, gap 25 flat, 25 true acid. Okay. I'm not saying I'm not that guy, but at the same time, I'm not going to like poo poo on like, someone doing like a toe roll or something like that, or like, something like that. Right. But I also know my limits, and my friends will definitely tell me when I'm out of my limits, right? Like, so if I start getting a little, like if it looks stupid, like if I'm doing it, it looks stupid, like I'm not meant or built to do that. I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to try to like kind of like incorporate it in. So I've just been trying to do different stuff, whether it's just like, a switch trick or a true spin trick or, throw some type of like heel roll or toe roll in, but I'm not going to do something that I know is going to look silly doing, you know what I mean? Like I've never done like a straight up heel roll, toe roll alone because I just I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't meant to do that, wasn't built for that.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's like also like not like a huge amount of the time that you were in the developmental stage skating, you were kind of refining those maneuvers. You were kind of spending your time refining other maneuvers, which I can completely relate to because I was doing the same thing. And when I try to come back like 20 years, however deep into the fact and trying to like learn toe rolls, it's well, one, it's a humbling experience, but two, it's definitely like you realize you spend time like developing a different aspect of your craft throughout that time. But like I said, like I really think that, and it's good that you have friends that are able to tell you like, hey, maybe like this one isn't working out.
Pull it back a little bit. Pull it back.
Yeah.
Stop doing what you do.
Hey man, it takes a friend to have the courage to be honest sometimes,
Yeah.
Well, you have a group of like diverse people as well too. Like if you think about the Bodega Boys, like you skate nothing like Ariel, you skate nothing like Torres, so everybody's so different that you all like, I guess, know where you stand when you go to a spot almost. Not that it's like a bad thing or anything, but like you go to a spot and you kind of like naturally just separates as skating different things, even though you're at the same spot,
Oh yeah, and it's one of those things where it doesn't matter. Like someone could be better technically, but like at that spot they're not. So it's not like we get to a spot and like, oh, that person's the best. They'll do whatever. It doesn't work like that because there are a lot of spots I go to where I'm like, oh my god, I can't skate this, and they can easily skate it. Like it could be something as little as like a little like bump where they're all just hitting it and like launching off it, and then I hit it and I just like fly right into it. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like I just can't do that. So it's cool to have everyone with like a different skill set. But no, skating with them is the best, and I learn a lot from them. And I think like without them, I wouldn't do as many things, or I wouldn't try and change things up if I didn't have like see them skate. There's a lot of times I'm just sitting back watching them, and I'm like, I don't know how they do that. I would love to like do that, and it's good to learn stuff because I remember back in the day, like just going back into starting. I mean, we used to go to the school up the block from my house when I first started, and it was just a step. And I would just royale it for, I don't know, 200 times. I wouldn't try another trick. I would just royale it 200 times. And it's like, I had to learn how to royale, right? So, now to go somewhere and try a trick 200 times, like it's kind of like fun because I've never done that before, It's like it's like learning something again at this age is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely part of like the process too. And I can relate because I think royales are kind of like, maybe it's like our like almost developing like our ollie. Like it's such like a quintessential grind, and like when you first start, it's kind of hard to figure out. And then once you get it, you're like, oh, like you start to feel like where the feet go and like that learning process. So
by the way, I can't really royale. I'm not good at royales.